Welcome. In this session, we are going to begin our journey into Python for data science and analytics. And in this particular session, this particular playlist, like the entire series is going to be focused on Python basics, basically introduction to Python for data science and analytics. And this particular session is actually dedicated to learning um, introduction to Jupyter Notebooks. We want to understand how Jupyter Notebooks works, how we can set up our environment, our IDE for working with Python for data science and analytics. So in this particular series, for the entirety of the course, I'm going to be using Colab. And the reason why I'm going to be using Collab is because it is very, very easy and straightforward to set up. All you need to do is be connected to the internet. However, majority of the things that we're going to do in this particular series till the end of the course, they are applicable in your normal Jupyter notebook that you would get. If you are interested in something that you can work with on your local computer, you can go to Anaconda, you can search Anaconda, um, maybe Jupyter notebook like this, then it is going to give you this particular platform where you can actually download Anaconda. So you can come to this place, then click on free download, and it is going to download Anaconda. Then you can work with that. Another thing is you could download VS Code if that is your cup of tea. Can go download VS Code and set it up. There are like tons of tutorials on the internet on how to set up VS Code. But what I always advise people is either use Cargo or use Collab and you're fine. So you can go to this link here, collab.research.google.com, collab.research.google.com. I'm going to link it in the description. Once you click on it, it is going to open up, and you all you have to do all you have to actually just have is a Google account. So if you have a Google account on that particular browser, it's going to allow you go through. But if not, you're going to see something like a sign in around somewhere here. So just do the quick sign in and you're going to be fine. So if you see a pop-up like this, what you want to do is click on new notebook. Click on new notebook, and it is going to present to you um, a Jupyter notebook that we can actually work with. Now, the first thing is if you are taken to a page like this directly, or even something that does not look like this, and you did not get the dialog box that we had earlier, what you have to do is just come to file. You're going to file around here. Make sure that you're not seeing sign in around this page. If you are still seeing sign in, you probably should just sign in. So, but if you do not see sign in here and you still have a page that does not have something like this blank that we have here, then you should click on file and just say open notebook or new notebook in Drive. Usually this is better. Just do new notebook in Drive and it is going to bring you to a page like this. And what you see here is basically something called Jupyter Notebook, but this is kind of like an online version, and it is very fast to use. It is like a computer on the internet that you can use to run all of your Python code, your code for data science and analytics and all of those stuff. And you don't really need to set anything up. It is just like you're just ready to go like that. You're ready to go. All you have to do is just have internet. Now, the first thing we are going to do is understand how this thing work. And really, the first thing that I'm going to do is actually rename this notebook. So how do I do that? I'm going to click here. I rename it to intro introduction to Jupyter notebooks. Jupyter notebooks. So in this class, we are actually going to be, you know, we're going to try to find our way around how Jupyter notebooks work and how we can do things. So a Jupyter notebook is basically just a collection of cells. So this box here is a cell. The box that you see here is a cell. So in this cell, you can type one of two things. Number one, you can either type code or you can type markdown. So really, a cell can either be a code cell or a markdown cell. Again, a cell can either be a code cell or a markdown cell. So what does that mean? For example, let's start by clicking connect. Let's connect to a runtime. Come here and click connect, and it is going to connect us to a runtime. That is, it is going to bring up the Python engine for us to start working. So you can see the details of it. Python 3, Google Compute Engine backend, and the size of the RAM that we have is 12 gig, and the size of the disk that we have is, that is storage, is 107 gig, which is pretty much more than enough. So now this cell here that you see here, I could go 2 plus 2 and run it. So if I want to run something, let me do that again. If I do 2 plus 2, if I want to run it, I'm going to do shift. I'm going to hold down shift, then press enter. So to run it is shift enter, or you can just click on this play button, right? And the problem is, if you actually just do something like print hello, something like this, don't worry about all of this command yet. We are going to get into that. The focus of this particular class, the goal is for you to understand how to use notebooks, how to work around notebooks. Now, if I do print hello and if I do not do shift enter and I just click on this play button, if I click on this play button, it will run and it prints out hello. But the problem is it will not give us a new code, a new cell to work with underneath. So if you need something like a new cell to work with underneath automatically, you do shift enter. Or if you have something like this, you can manually just come here and click on, if you want a code cell, you click on code. If you want a markdown cell, you click on this particular text. So let's say I do shift enter again, it gives me a new one. So I don't have to manually do that. Now, what is now a markdown cell? What you've seen currently is a code cell. This is a code cell. This is a code cell because it allows us to give a set of instructions to the computer, to the Python engine, and Python returns some information. In this case, we told Python add 2 plus 2, and it returned 4. We asked it, okay, print out hello, and it printed it out. But sometimes we just want to write information. We just want to write things in natural language for, you know, anybody that is reading through our notebook, anybody that is going through our analysis. We want to just tell them some things, in just normal write up. For example, I could want to, give this particular notebook an header, right? So how am I going to do that? Let's say one way of doing that is to come here and select the text. If I want to do it on this next line, I could go text like this, then go uh, introduction to Jupyter notebooks. Then I can run it the exact same way that I run a code cell. And that's going to be with shift enter. And you see what I have here. I have this small introduction to Jupyter notebooks. But I can actually tell this particular app that I want it to be bigger. So how do I do that? Just like if you are familiar with Markdown before, it's the same way you format a Markdown. So you can go one hashtag will mean I want it to be very big. Then the more hashtag that I add, the smaller it gets. You can see from this particular preview, you know, keeps getting smaller as you go. I think once you get to the fifth one, it stops. But let's say I want it to be one, and that's the introduction to Jupyter Notebooks, and you see this header here. So let me remove this cell here, delete it. Now, you know, this I could actually move this all the way up because ideally this is going to be at the top. So I can either create this here by saying text, at the top here, or I can move this one that I've already created to the top. So I can just move this to the top by clicking on this arrow. Now I have introduction to Jupyter Notebooks. Then let's say I want to edit it again. Another thing I can do if I want to edit it again is I can say I can double click. So if I double click here, I can go um, in this course. We are going to, or in this lesson, we are going to cover the following topics. And I can go like this. And everything I'm typing is actually like giving me a preview on this end. So I can go hashtag hyphen if I want to list, with bullet points. So I can say hyphen um uh let's what are the things I want to look at. Firstly, say understanding, or let's starting up a collab instance. Then second thing I want to do, you're going to see that's started like this bullet point kind of thing. Then I'm going to say understanding how cells work in Jupyter Notebook. Then three, code versus markdown. And last one, saving, sharing, and accessing your work. Now, another thing I would want to maybe add is we want to add how to actually use some quick commands. So we're going to say quick commands in Colab, right? So if I should run this now, you are going to see that we have this, right? We have this list, these bullet points kind of things. And you can also, italicize things. Let's say I want to italicize. I can go um, this course assumes that you, let's say, the course actually doesn't assume anything. So we say like this course does not have a prerequisite, have any prerequisite, something like that. So we end it uh, with another star. So we put it in between stars. So we can go note like this. So anytime we do something like this where we have note this, then that other thing um, um, wrapped in two stars. Whenever we write something in two asterisks, that's our way of telling Python that that's our way of telling a Jupyter notebook in Markdown that we want something to be italicized. All right. So, and there are a lot of things that we can do. You should really look into how Markdown work. We can, add latex, we can add tables, we can add a lot of things. Another thing is, instead of memorizing all of this, you can actually just use these particular buttons here. So you could, do something here. If you want to, if you want something to be bold, for example, I could highlight this and click on bold, and it will do exactly that. Make this bold. If I want to italicize something like we've done here, we can, highlight and italicize. Let's say I want to italicize just this Jupyter notebooks. I can say italicize. So it italicize that. Then I can actually add, I can format something as a code. So let's say I go select star from employees, something like a a SQL query. So I could come here and say code, then control exit. Normally, if you want to type that yourself, you are going to use this inverted code quote under um your escape key. You press it thrice, or you can just use this button here. If you want to format something, you want something to be displayed as a code. So if I come here and run it, you're going to see that it has displayed this inside its own tiny little box, like code. Then also you can have block codes, you can add numbers, you can add horizontal row, you can add latex. If you want to include formulas, mathematical expression, you can add latex. Then another thing that you could do is you can, I think, reposition this markdown preview. If you click on this, it is going to move this box from here. This preview box is going to move it under here. I mean, if you do this, it's going to like add it here, which I'm not really a fan of. So I like it on this side more. So that is just markdown. There are a lot of things you can do. You can create tables and all of that if you want. So excuse me. So that is markdown for you. Yeah, let's just do shift enter. So we see that it has created this. So um well, I'm going to remove this code because we do not need it. Then I'm just going to shift enter this. Perfect. So yeah, that is how markdowns work. Now the next one we are going to now look at is quick commands in collab. So the first command I've shown you is the command for running something. So if I want to say print we are live, now to run that is going to be shift, you hold down shift and enter, and that is going to print we are live. Then if I want to change a code cell to a markdown cell, I want to change a cell that is already a code cell, I want to turn it to a markdown cell like instantly. How can I do that? So if I want to turn this particular next cell, I've already created it as a code cell. So how do I change it? So I can say this should be a markdown. I'm just filling it up cell. And you see it's showing me this error because now because this is a code cell. So if I should run this, I'm going to get a Python error. So it's going to like say a lot of say invalid syntax. So meanwhile, I actually do not want this to be a code cell. I want this to be a markdown cell. So how can I do that? I'm going to hold Control M, then press leave it and press M again. Again, you do Control M, you press Control M, you hold Control and press M, then you leave it. You release both buttons, both keys, then press M again. So and to return it back, so if I should run this now, it works. It gives me markdown. And if I want to return it back to a markdown, so I'm going to do Control M again, then Y to return it back to a code cell. So to switch, let me actually use that. I'm going to say to switch a cell from code cell to markdown, use from code to markdown. That's going to be Control CTRL Control M. Then you release it and press M again. Then to switch the cell from markdown to code, we use Control M, release it, then press Y. So that's how we do it. So we'll practicalize that one more time. So we go Control M, release both keys, then M, and we are here. And we see that we have everything written out inside each other. So we need to just format it like a bullet point. And if we don't want to like format like a bullet point and we want space, you just add double space. So instead of single space, we had one more space, and it automatically knows that we want to actually write this. So that is that. Now, the last thing we're going to be looking at is, those are the basic stuff. Your Control Z works normally. So let's say I type something, then I do Control Z, it undoes it. So let's say um, I have this particular cell that does not have, let me say, print. We will delete this. We will delete and restore this. So let's say I delete this. Now, the way to restore this will be to press just Z, or you can do normally if you press Z, it will restore it. But I'm seeing new information here. But normally across every variant of Jupyter Notebook, whether it is local or this, if you delete something to restore the whole cell that you've deleted, press Z. But if you delete something within a cell, let's say I remove all of this and I want it back, it's just Control Z. So those are like some of the shortcuts that I use a lot in my day to day. So, and also there's a button here for you to actually look up all of the commands. So if you want to do that, you can. If you have the time to do that. Everything that I've been mentioning, for example, to convert to a text cell like a markdown cell, this is how to do it. So yeah, that is that the final thing I want to look at is saving your work and sharing it, accessing your work. So if you want to share your work, you can click on share here, and it's going to like give you a pop-up link, which is this. You can copy the link and share it with people, or you can just get their email address, share it, and they get it in their mail. And also you have to like set the privilege that you want to give them, whether it is anyone with the link can check, or whether this thing is restricted. So I have to turn this to anyone with the link. So once I switch this to anyone with the link, another important thing is that uh the people that see it, like, they can only like view, and in some cases if you do not set the right privilege, you can also edit. So that is one way of sharing it. So I can just like copy this link and give it to people, and whenever they open it, it takes them straight to collab. Another thing that we another thing that another way of sharing is you can come here, say file. So if you have a GitHub account, you can save as a GitHub gist, or you can also save a copy in GitHub. So if you click on save in GitHub, it's going to ask you like what repository do you want to save it into. So you can navigate to a particular repository and save it there. It's going to give you a list of all of your repositories. So then as a GitHub gist, if you have a GitHub gist, if you have GitHub, automatically you have gist. So um if you click on save as a GitHub, save a copy as a GitHub gist, it's also going to save it as a GitHub gist. If you already know how to use gist, it's just like this single page where you can quickly like share code snippets and stuff like that. Then lastly, you can download on your local computers. You can either download as IPYNB or .py. So if you want your download to come out as a clean Jupyter notebook, just the exact way that you created it, then you click on .ipynb. If you want it to be formatted as a Python script, you click as .py. Click save as download.py. So, and both is going to cause a download to happen in your computer. And if you already have a downloaded Jupyter notebook or a Jupyter notebook on your own on your system, on your laptop, and you want to bring that into Collab, the way you would do that is to come to File, and then you click on Upload Notebook. And once you do that, you click on Browse, then you can just follow the prompt, and it's going to like allow you to do that. So that is every important thing on introduction to Jupyter Notebooks. And this Jupyter Notebook is going to be what we are going to be using for the next course, for like everything that we're going to be doing moving on. So thank you for being a part of this. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye.